I'm done typing. And I think you might want to be too. Typing using keyboards, it's been the default for decades, but I feel like it's holding us back. It's too slow and it breaks the mental flow. And today I want to fill you in on the breakthrough that I've had that helps me work not just faster, but also more naturally. I've really gone through a bit of a transformation. Over the years, I've actually moved away from typing more and more. Instead of typing, I've just naturally started using my voice when and if I was ever able to. So at first that meant using Siri with Apple's built-in voice dictation. It misheard me all the time, just constant frustration. Then more recently, I've been using the built-in voice dictation, not the voice chat, but the voice dictation in ChatGPT. But even that turns out to be very hit or miss. Sometimes I'll record something for like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, there's a limit at 10 minutes, and just lose that whole block of thinking, really, to the point where it's like devastating. I just sat there and really thought through something, laid it all out, and it's just gone. Now, somewhere in between typing and Neuralink, which is a brain-computer interface, there's room for us to be more efficient without having to embed a chip inside of our brain. We can just talk, and we can use something like Superwhisper to be so much more efficient and effective. What Superwhisper does is that it removes friction. That's what I love about it. And that means that you can actually work at the speed of thought, like take notes on podcasts or respond to your emails or do social media posting, even code with something like VS Code and Python. You know, it's there in Slack, it's there in Obsidian. What I'm trying to convey is that the tech is finally there for you to make the switch. You don't have to type anymore if you don't want to. But there's a reason people love this, and the reason is because people speak 120 to 150 words per minute, whereas most people type 40 to 60 words per minute. But here's another major breakthrough. Aside from the speed thing, as you type, you also have your flow broken because you tend to edit while you're typing. And what you can do with something like Superwhisper or like Whisper Flow, which is similar, or Aqua Voice, which I know a lot of people are using too, is you can just speak naturally and let AI worry about the formatting. And I gotta tell you, it works really well. I know you're probably thinking, if you're familiar with Siri and dictation at all, you're like, it's just not worth it. It's not gonna understand things. No. This understands. And sometimes it's good. Like, I understand you think differently when you write with your Apple Pencil. You think differently when you type. You think differently when you just speak. They're all valuable in their own ways. But if you're really trying to just shave precious moments and seconds out of your day to do something else with them to be more efficient, there's nothing like this. Now, stepping back real quick, I just want to say this is a small representation of how AI is starting to affect the way that we work. Of course, there's going to be much bigger ways that it affects everything in society. And the real key isn't just about using AI. It's about knowing when and where it actually gives you an edge. Just for example, some things are better done manually. The smartest people aren't replacing their work with AI. They're multiplying what they can do with it. This is where the famous saying comes from. AI is not going to replace your job. Somebody who knows how to use it, how to leverage it, is going to replace your job. And that's exactly what I break down in my new course, My AI Edge. It's real strategies for working smarter with AI, not just hype. I've got a massive discount on the course down in the description. Check out that coupon. It's just for you guys here on Daily Tech. But I actually agree with David Perel. I stumbled across this post that he did the other day, and he was talking about how typing is going to be this relic from the past, and it's going to feel so outdated and so outmoded. And I 110% agree. But we have got to talk about Superwhisper because you may have never questioned typing before. It might have just been the way that it was. I've got this on the iPhone, I've got it on the Mac, and there's some great settings. You can really tinker around with the settings and set up these power modes. So if you want to kick in like an email mode and set that all up and have it, take things differently and format it differently for emails, you can do that. For messages, you can do that. For Slack, you can do that if you want to. There's just a default mode that works really well right out of the box as well. That's what I mostly use. You can customize things like the shortcut keys. And actually, I'm glad that you can customize that because the hot buttons that are built in actually activate ChatGPT Mini as well on the Mac. So I shifted those over to something else, a different combination. There's a Mac menu bar button. So if you'd rather not use the hotkeys and just activate it that way and deactivate it that way, you can do that. I mean, they've really thought about everything you need, nothing that you didn't. And it's worth paying $8 a month for me to do this. I save that much time. I find it to be that worth it. There's all these cool things in there too, like there's a clipboard mode that lets you preserve your clipboard history. So if you activate this and you see the waveform going because it's listening to you and then it translates that, and by the way, it can go faster or slower depending on the model that you want to use, or if you want to use local translation versus offload to the cloud, there's trade-offs, but I'm so glad that there's an option. But if you want to preserve whatever you had copied onto the clipboard before, then you can go ahead and dictate to this to Superwhisper, and then it will go into whatever app that you're using it for, or let's say you are dictating an email, it'll paste in there, and then it will retrieve what you had copied before on the clipboard and restore that so you can go ahead and paste it again. That's an option. There's some really thoughtful features. I'm also really appreciating the custom vocabulary here. If you aren't able to put in words that you use frequently that it just never would pick up, like my own business name, Daily Tech, spelled Daily T-E-K-K, like I put that in the dictionary, and now when I say Daily Tech, it actually spells it right? That's a big bonus. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Drafts, the Drafts app, where you start all your text documents in Drafts and then you export them wherever to messages or to notes or whatever. This is kind of like that, but for voice stuff. It's so easy to share off of your iPhone app into any other app, whatever you have recorded. So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting everything. All my thinking starts, all my writing starts, things I used to type for start in Superwhisper. And I like the documentation. It's just really well supported. The developer seems cool. I really do feel like typing's not gonna go anywhere overnight, but I think in the future, we will look back like Dave was talking about and be like, why did people type on these things called keyboards? Those are my recent adventures with Superwhisper. Maybe you've tried it. I'd love to hear your feedback. Maybe you're like, I don't know, leave your questions, leave your comments down there, see if we get those answered. But don't forget, check out the My AI Edge. It's already gotten a new update. We're gonna keep that thing nice and fresh, so useful right now. AI, we're early, right? It's coming, it's gonna disrupt a lot of things. It's gonna bring a lot of opportunities. If you wanna capitalize on the opportunities and minimize that disruption into your life, then go check it out. There's a great coupon. It's gonna save you $75. It's only for people watching right here on Daily Tech. And I'll either catch you over on the second channel or right here for the next video. Later.